Jumbo Rafiki Kenyans, and welcome to those watching. Before we start, we gotta talk. Alright guys, before we begin, I'm sorry. Okay, so I may have been away a bit on the keyboard lately, and I take myself to account on that. I know y'all are angry, like look at these animals, but I've been consulting with these animals, we've been consulting for a little bit, we've been in a den, we've been talking with them for a bit. But don't worry, our team is back in operation. We are going to have a splendid time. Do not worry. I've been away from keyboard. We've been working on some fun activities and projects for a bit, which is why I've been out lately. But that's okay. We are back, and we're gonna go strong.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! 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 No!
Hello all, welcome to those watching. Side here, hope all is going well. Jumbo Rafiki Kenyans to those watching. Today we are going to be going over a new topic. That was the most straight up intro that I just made. I'm so proud of myself. I'm just kidding. Anyways, today we're going to be discussing about a new topic for today. There's a fun twist. We are going to be skipping this topic, different types of bikes. We're going to be going into forces and twerks. And operation by principles, because that video, our team literally found out that it is two videos, and that deserves its own separate two videos. This video, we're going to be going over forces and twerks regardless. Now for some updates for today, we have three updates for today to those Kenyans also watching. Number one, what was the update? Oh yeah. Okay. So our team is still working on that project. We are doing our very, very, very extreme best on that project. Please stay tuned. We did have some pushbacks, but we are still maintaining operation. Hey, look at that. Operation of bike principles. Operation. Yeah, okay. But we're still working on that project. We're going to get that project done as soon as possible for you guys to start. Second update, Unit 5. You guys are going to see the previous slide about to be determined. That slide, Unit 5, is going to be updated. We decided on Unit 5 to be mechanics related. I did get some advice for future units and future lessons. Unit 5 is going to be applied directly on that project. That's going to be based on mechanics. The third update, our team member Sean, he is doing his extreme best, and I appreciate all that he does regarding our program. He's helping us right now with creating some fun activities for you guys. You guys are going to hopefully learn some new things. You guys hopefully will understand some new things regarding with physics and engineering related. We're going to be establishing some fun activities for you guys in the next coming days. So stay tuned on that as well. And a future Q&A session is going to be coming up with you Kenyans as well. So stay tuned on that as well. Anyways, let's begin. I said so much already. We're gonna discuss force and twerks. Let's go, baby. Let's go in. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Wait, what? Okay. We're gonna be discussing about three forces, and then we'll be discussing about twerks. So let's talk about the first force. We're gonna be talking about gravitational force. What is gravitational force? It's a force that attracts any two objects with mass. So hold on, guys. Before we even start, let's break apart the word. For those who don't know, I have a gravitation. I have an all. Gravitational. See? And you know what's so fun about that is that it's literally a force. You're applying two different words as two objects with mass, and you're applying them together. See that? Even the Pen Pineapple parody song can go with this too. Anyways, it's a force that attracts two objects with mass, two objects with weight. A force kind of combines them together. Now, how does it apply for bikes? Gravity affects both the slope and kinetic energy of the bikes. The steeper the pitch, the more force the gravity's pull, and the more down the slope of the pitch is, the more kinetic force is going to be exerted and will increase as a result. Now, this was actually demonstrated if you guys take a look at the surprise lesson. That's about periodic table. Projectile motion in our previous surprise lesson. We discussed about how we can see gravity be applied in that soccer scenario of that bike, in that bike parabola system, and that projectile motion system. In this diagram, so you guys can take a look at that for more reference in terms of gravitational force. Here as well, we can see there's forces that are being applied when this biker is biking on this bike as well. So we're going to be going over that as well. So for some further information about any force-related stuff, this link really goes into the STEM-related aspects. It really explains actually the STEM behind the physics behind biking specifically. It goes really in depth in terms of dynamics, gravitational force, friction, and it has some really cool, interesting photos like these olden day, and the bikes in the olden days, and you know, that's cool. I cannot resist bikes. They're so cool. But yeah, like the olden days, when the olden days when when we had no television and all that kind of stuff. We had these bikes. These bikes always get us around. So yeah, I'll put this link in the description for you guys below as well. You guys can take a look at that as well for further reference. Let's go over the next slide. The next slide that we're going to be, hold on, is there anything I need to present to you guys here? No? Okay, let's go over the next slide. We're going to be going over now frictional force. So what is frictional force? It's a force that opposes motion when the surface of a body comes into contact with that of another body. It could be a literal body, but it can also be an object. When I say body, it means an object. So when an object goes into contact with another object, that could be another surface, etc., there is a opposing motion that occurs. And that force, well, how does it apply for bikes? It's a force that resists, how does it apply? Because there's a force that resists sliding motion between contacting surfaces. Specifically regarding with friction, that's applied in bikes because we can see them when we brake, essentially. There are certain features that allow that to occur. There's a system that's also applied. We have brake pads and wheel rims that occur, and also when we're holding on to maintain control of our bike, handlebars, our hands allow successful gripping to occur when we grip on the handlebars. So that way we maintain safety and we also control our bike when moving around. And a good example of this is during skating. During skating, the blade rubs against the surface of the ice, and that generates heat and also thermal energy. Now, I'm also going to do rollerblading as well, and that's going to be pretty fun. So, yeah, we can see that there's a sliding motion that's being presented in frictional forces. The main word that I want you guys to note is the word resistance. Resistance is something that applies with frictional force. It's an opposing motion. So whenever you hear the word frictional force, always think of it as some kind of opposing motion or resistance. In this diagram, we can see here that this is an uphill. This is some kind of hill. It's not a flat hill because we can see that there's a theta of some sort. So this dude is like going up like crazy, and there's propulsion. There's like a force that's moving forward, and we can see that there's a lot of forces that are being separate that are moving the bike, just pushing the bike backwards. So basically, this person's battling all the motions at once. So we can see air drag, acceleration, gravity, brake, internal friction, rolling resistance. Now, frictional force is just a general concept. There's just different types of frictions that really go in depth, but we're not going to do that in this video, and I'm not going to do that. And there's also rolling resistance. There's also different types of resistances as well, but I am not going to go into such complexities. No way. Anyways, let's go over the next slide. The next slide we're going to be going over is rolling resistance force. Fun fact. I decided to do this force because it was legit in the I was kind of too lazy in going over all these forces, so I decided why not just do rolling resistance for fun. Let's go over rolling resistance force. What is rolling resistance force? It's a force that resists rolling motion for a wheel. Now, how does it apply for bikes? Well, the rolling resistance for bikes is usually in the range of 80 to 120 psi. Psi is something that we usually measure in terms of rolling resistance for bikes. Now, the formula for that is force equals Fx over cosine A, cosine angle or cosine theta. So, for example, let's say this is how we calculate rolling resistance force. So, an example for that, let's say we have a 10-degree slope that will increase the required force. Let's say we have a 10-degree slope, and how are we going to calculate for essentially the rolling resistance force? So, a 10-degree. Oh my God. So, I'm sorry, guys, as well. I'm gonna get these subscripts. Don't worry. I'm gonna get all these subscripts and these things handled out. Do not worry about that. Yeah, I'm gonna get all these subscripts. This is Fx. That means that there's a subscript on the bottom. That's like horizontal force. I'm so sorry. So, anyways, yeah, 10-degree slope that increases. What will happen with the 10-degree slope, right? Let's say cosine A is like 10 degrees. Let's say A is 10. So that would mean that there's going to be an increase in required force. So we can see here that F equals F subscript x over cosine 10. That's going to equal to 1.015 times that the horizontal force. So that means that there is going to be 1.015 times the times that by the resistance that's already occurred, the horizontal resistance. So we can see here that this is our rolling resistance. Fx just treat it as a coefficient. And a good example of rolling resistance force that's also applied in our society today is very well. What am I saying? Um, Now, why is it crucial? Well, in society today, um, vehicles like cars, trucks, they need energy to send its tires to maintain speed over consistent speed over a surface. Does that sound like English? Hold on. Vehicles need English? No, no, that doesn't even sound like English. No, no. Wait, vehicle needs energy to send its tires to maintain speed over. That sounds like English, yes. Okay. So vehicles, they essentially need energy to send its tires in order to maintain speed over their consistent speed when going over a surface. It's crucial. Um, Now over here we can see that there's rolling friction that's being applied. We can see that there's normal, there's a friction that's being applied. We see and there's applied force, air resistance, and also friction that's combining all these things on this person. And for some reason, this dude is very happy. I love how this dude is very happy, but he doesn't know that there's all these forces that are coming upon him. That's so cool. Even we're also happy, and also forces are there. We should all be happy that we have forces in our society today. Okay. Next, we're going to be going over twerks. Twerks for biking. Now, keep in mind, we are not talking about twerks, okay? I don't want to see any. I don't want to see any. I don't want to see anything weird in the chat. Let's talk about twerks. I hope YouTube does not censor me. But we're going over twerks. Twerks for biking, okay? Now, what is twerks? Okay, the twerks is essentially the rotational force you apply to the pedals. When you're pedaling, there's a rotational force. That's twerks. Now, how's that calculated? It's calculated by the force that you exert on the crank, times that by the length of your crank arm. I went over a whole calculator that calculates the crank arm and the parameter on that. So try to reference that video if you guys want to calculate those certain parameters to calculate, rotational force, which is essentially torques. So go over that. You guys can take a look at that video. That's, with that splendid net calculator that goes over that. So that's going to be pretty fun as well. Now, how's that apply for biking? The longer the crank arm, the greater the torque. The longer the pedals means that you're going to have more force, and that means that there's more rotation, more force. The torque is going to be more. The more force exerted on the pedals, the greater the torque, because you have a longer crank arm. And the more torque means that there's faster motion for the bike because, there's more rotation. Here we can see that we have an electric bicycle, and we can see here the electric bicycle over here that there is a torque transducer. There's a T12 square drive torque transducer that's installed in the bike when you're pedaling. So, that creates energy and that powers the electric bicycle. So yeah, this module over here, this USB drive module, this helps, conduct the electricity in this thing, which is kind of really cool. Ideal torques, a bike with 105 bhp and 150 nanometers of torque will perform the best with a heavier load. That's a fun fact for any ideal torque related. Now, I want to show you guys also a fun simulator. I just literally take a look at this actually. Oh wait, no, this is not a simulator. Wait, is that the next? Wait, is that the next? Oh no. Oh yeah. Wait, is this the right one? Hold on. Is it here? Oh no. Wait a second. Oh, there it is. Okay. Whew. Okay. I don't know what I just clicked. Okay. Here it is. This is a simulator that I want to show you guys. This simulator really discusses about, I just had like a brain freeze. Hold on one second. Right, this goes into torques. This goes into all like the forces that are kind of applied here. It's specifically with the motor. So we can, this is pretty cool. You can check, the systems here. There's a hub motor, mid drive, and you can, play around with the modules, the down tubes, etc. And there's throttle. The throttle's by itself. You can press auto if you want. And we can see here there's some other parameters you can play around with, the wheel, upright, the different type of bike that you want to produce. And, there's certain watt force of human power that wants to be applied. And you can simulate this. And you can see over here that there's a graph. We can see here that there's the watts is on the left side and the percent of efficiency is on the right side. We can see that there's a torque that's represented as the blue line. We can see power A, load A, which is the weight, and the efficiency. This is basically applying all, the torque related stuff and the forces that are being generated. This is all just torque and this is all torque and rolling resistance force, and this is all being applied in the system here. This is pretty cool. It goes over a lot of cool stuff here, so you guys can take a look at this as well. You can also change some of the parameters here as well. Let's say I wanted to, let's decrease the watts. Why not? Let's do that. If you simulate this, it moves the load A. The load A is the dashed part, I think. Yes, the dot is that load A. So that's kind of really cool. Oh yeah, and you can move it as well, which is kind of really cool. This simulator might help in some degree of, if you want to create some kind of motor, a controller, battery in terms of the vehicle, especially with like bikes as well. So this is really really helpful. This is a really good simulation that kind of goes over that. Hold on. Okay. So that's it for this video, actually. This video, I just wanted to keep it short regarding with forces and twerks. If you guys have any questions related with biking, please email us, and you can also WhatsApp and direct message us as well. When sending questions, off-related or related, please write the question you have, send a picture associated with the diagram, and we'll respond when we have the chance. We'll get some more updates in the future. But yeah, I hope you guys have learned something new, and I hope you guys now know the difference between twerks and torques. Oh, I should not have made that joke. It's okay. Yeah, but anyways, thank you guys for watching, and hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!